The following podcast features half-biased and controversial sports takes. All predictions are simply predictions, and we truly don't know what will happen. We will try our best to keep you entertained, but no guarantees. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to our show. Much love, Ripper Brands.
Welcome to episode 66 of the Ripper Podcast. Ethan Rodenstill, Elson Gratz with you. Elson on a mini vacation right now with his Oklahoma snow days, which is absolutely absurd. Talk about that, Elson, because I'm very jealous of you right now.
This podcast, it's basically all I've got lined up for the day. Yesterday we had off because there was an incoming snowstorm. I think it hit at like noon. Started off not too bad, some flurries. Honestly, kind of looked like a blizzard later on in the day. We got some legit snow, and then today we got off due to the snow accumulation, 5 or 6 inches. The city isn't used to that. I think we have one plow in the entire town. We're seeing guys shoveling out campus by hand. So this is kind of unprecedented. And then tomorrow, I don't know if the roads are icy or what. They look fine to me, but no classes, mini vacation. I say just round out the week, cancel Friday. In fact, just cancel everything until spring break. I would love that.
Yeah, that sounds good. How long until your spring break? Is that coming up?
I don't even remember. Just cancel it until then.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's be real. Nothing's happening.
No way.
Friday. Nothing. There will be nothing accomplished on Friday, so it makes literally no sense to even attempt classes. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Tulsa, it's a rigorous school. I've heard some of the things you got going on, and you gotta put your time in. You gotta earn the degree. You can't just hand it to them because you got a little bit of snow on the ground and you're from Oklahoma. Yeah, we got a fun episode today though, Elson. Episode 66. Little note here. Middle school quarterback Ethan Rodenstill was number 66. Are you at all intimidated by if you see like a little 110-pound kid getting under center who's not knows how to throw a spiral?
I'd be absolutely terrified.
Are you? Okay.
Incoming tush push. Gonna get like 20 yards on it.
Yeah, I remember there was a couple times we did a little QB sneak. I actually remember. I think there was like 2 times I can remember off the top of my head that I fumbled. But there's so many people there, and the refs are so amateur that they didn't. I got free for like a couple yards. And I remember one thing. This is a kind of a funny story too. I remember, on Madden, how they automatically fall down.
Oh my god, it's so annoying. Yeah,
I thought that's how you're supposed to do a quarterback sneak. So I think we were playing Warner Park, I think, and I had a QB. We ran a QB sneak, and I just took like 3 steps forward and fell down. Like I thought that I legitimately probably could have had a 15-yard quarterback sneak. It was so wide open. I remember Jerry Herbst. Shout out Jerry Herbst. He was mad at me. He's so mad at me because I fell down. I thought that's how you're supposed to do them. I didn't know.
You don't need to take those hits.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm franchise. Protect your body.
Right. Yeah. No doubt. Well, we got a fun one today, Elson. Kyle Therion will be joining us in a little bit. We're excited to talk about life with him, and then we got a loaded week in girls basketball. 3 games on Thursday, and then starting next Tuesday is the first round of the playoffs. So we'll be previewing all of our area's teams, playoff matchups. Nothing in the boys basketball realm. No area games that we even have to talk about. Interesting week. Talk a little Cheesemakers Hockey. First time we've ever talked about them on the pod. They unfortunately just lost their playoff game last night, but we'll talk that. A little bit of golf, a little bit of March Madness bracketology. 4 nations. Elson, did you catch any of the Canada-USA hockey game the other night?
I saw some little pieces of it. I heard that it was great overall.
Electric. We'll talk all about it. And then a little bit of NFL offseason coverage. Elson and I. I'm frozen.
You're good on my end.
Okay, we'll keep going then. There we are. We're back. NFL offseason, big boards, and then we'll release our mock draft schedule as those will be coming up in the next coming weeks. NFL offseason, best time of the year, arguably. But we got a lot to get to. Let's start now with a little bit of an update here because we got some merchandise dropping. New headwear pre-order will open up on Tuesday. You can see a couple previews of some of the products there. A little bit of a new focus. 2025 brings a new idea, a new identity for our merchandise side of Ripper Brands. We're going to be focusing more on headwear. You're going to be seeing a lot more hats. We'll still have a limited merchandise store with apparel, sweatshirts, t-shirts, kind of that stuff. But it'll be just basic branding. We're not going to be coming up with a whole bunch of new things, but pre-order for some new golf headwear will be open on Tuesday online. You'll be able to get some of that, and then it'll officially drop later down the road. So I'm excited to be able to do that. We're going to turn Elson into a hat guy.
I'm already a hat guy.
He's already okay. Perfect. That's easy enough right there. But yeah, new golf headwear drops on Tuesday, so you can head over to ripperbrands.net to check some of that out. We'll bring it up again on Wednesday next week on the pod. But without further ado, let's bring in our special guest of the day, Mr. Kyle Therion.
How's it going, guys?
How are you? How's Eau Claire treating you?
Cold.
Yeah,
Eau Claire.
He's cold too. And it seems like Oklahoma, Tulsa is cold too.
Okay, it's been cold. I don't think it's been Eau Claire cold because that's got the whole river running through campus, right? Does that like drop the temperature at all?
No, I think it was negative 18 yesterday morning at 6 a.m. So
let's not talk about. Are we worried about rivers right now? I mean, I have Lake Michigan outside my window. I mean, it's freezing around here. Yeah, I think it was. I mean, you said negative 18 in Eau Claire. I think it was somewhat similar. It was like close enough that it was like maybe we'll get classes canceled, maybe, but we didn't quite. It's brutal. I'm excited for warm weather. Winter college kind of sucks walking to classes.
A little bit.
Big buildings in Milwaukee create some kind of crazy wind tunnels, and it's miserable, no doubt. So we got Kyle Therion. I'm excited to chat with him. One of the most legendary goaltenders I've ever played with. Stood on the football field. Didn't get to play with you there. But let's talk a little bit about your journey. You're at Eau Claire now. You played football there this past season, but now you made a decision to move on from that. So I'm excited to get to your perspective on that. But let's talk about a little bit your high school athletic career, some of your mindset, and like what was your approach? Because I know it was kind of a goal of yours to get to play football at the next level. So talk about your high school career, some of the sports you played, and that mindset trying to play at the next level.
Yeah, so in high school, I was golf and football and hockey. Like football and hockey were kind of pretty time consuming, and I really fell in love with football sophomore year. And it was kind of this thing that, hey, if I get an opportunity to go play at a higher level, I want to at least take that opportunity. So I would say junior and senior year. Actually, sophomore year, I lost a bunch of weight, and then junior and senior year was a big build up, bulk up, and kind of try and get to play at the next level with Eau Claire, and ended up being. So yeah, I came here and I made the roster freshman year, and it was a good experience. So yeah, it's kind of how I made it here.
So you played hockey. Obviously, you played for Monroe. As a PEC student, was that at all weird playing for a different school, wearing the Monroe M on the chest?
Not really. We're co-op for football too, so like that's always been a thing. But I don't know. I've been playing Monroe hockey since I was 8, so it was kind of part of who it was.
That's true. So you mentioned you had a good experience with football. Talk about your freshman year at Eau Claire.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it was kind of a completely different thing. You show up, you don't really know what to expect. August 14th for fall camp, and it's a lot. I was ready for fall camp to suck, but it was like 14 hours a day of stuff on the hour by the hour, and that carries into the season. So no, I mean, it's a lot of work, but you meet a lot of good guys doing it. Like there's a lot of fellas on the team that I'm done playing with, but I'll still be buddies with them for a long time to come. I don't know, playing games, there wasn't a whole lot of win-loss success this season, but there were moments, right? Like those, the experience of running on the field for the first time was a pretty surreal experience.
So what went into your decision to step away from football in that case?
Yeah. So when I committed here, part of my commitment with the coach was on the first day when I committed, I was like, I want to try this because I don't want to, I don't want to look back in life and be like, I wish I would have tried football and had turned it away. But I'd also chosen against going to UW-Madison when I committed here. So that was kind of the big thing to me, was that this is like, football was fun, but it was it was so time consuming, and it wasn't. It was a lot of time to not be at the school that I had, dreamed of being at, my dream school, really. And also playing O line and having to weigh 280 going on 300. It's a lot of toll on the body. Same with like CTE and all that. Like it's just risk.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no doubt. Sorry for interrupting you earlier, Elson, but is there a new head coach there? Is that true? Or like last couple years at least? Or is he at Eau Claire?
Yeah. So this is Coach Erickson's third year with the program, I believe.
Third year?
So
okay. I thought I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a whole new coaching staff that started 3 years ago, except for the O-line coach, Coach McHugh, who I spent most of my time with, was 7th or 8th year. So
okay. So no football for you. Going into your sophomore season, what's your plan for year 2 in college?
There's a lot left in the air still. Assuming I get into Madison, I'd most likely go there. And I don't know. I don't really know what it entails. I know I guess I start in the cut, so I'm gonna do the famous O-line cut post career. So there's that. But yeah, there's a lot left in the air. I don't know. Part of me wants to pick up powerlifting. That's kind of something that I've been doing for a long time.
What are the steps in the post-career O-line cut? I gotta ask.
Well, a lot of it's just stop eating 5,000 calories a day. Like that's the big step. But a lot of cardio. I just got done lifting and spent a good 40 minutes on a treadmill, just walking and doing some light cardio because just fat loss really. It's kind of an inside joke, but yeah, no, all the big guys do it the second the career's over.
Transitioning into powerlifting does seem like it would be the way to go after that.
Yeah. No, I thought at one point that distance running could be something, but the more I think about it, I'm like, powerlifting sounds so much better than distance running.
As someone who runs distances as a hobby, powerlifting sounds so much better than distance running.
Right.
What do you think about Eau Claire as an academic school? Like, would you recommend it to incoming students who aren't playing football?
Yeah, no, I think I really do like the school here. No, I think it's a great option. I mean, it's a beautiful campus right on the Eau Claire River. Like, I do think it is a good school. I've had great professors in all my classes. It's just, moving forward. That's more so Madison. That's not a I don't like Eau Claire. That's a I really love Madison decision. Is kind of what's going through my head.
I get that 100%. I think Madison's really enticing for a lot of people. And I think, especially in the Wisconsin area, people grow up watching the Badgers, being a Badger fan. That's a lot of people's, school. It's almost, not saying this is you, but it's almost like the I don't know better type situation where it's like, this is what Wisconsin has. I mean, we had the Badgers. You know what I mean? It's not like, I'm going to use Oklahoma, for example. It's not like we have Oklahoma State, Tulsa. Who else is down there, Elson? Anybody?
You hit the 3 important ones.
Okay.
We don't need to talk about Oral Roberts.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Tulsa is not even important. I mean, come on. Anyways.
D1. Come on. Show some respect.
Sports. All the sports they suck at, though. Anyways. No.
I just think co-op for football.
Huh?
We need to be a co-op for football.
Yeah, you and Oral Roberts. There you go. But, I mean, Wisconsin's unique in that way that they have kind of the Mac Daddy of all the colleges in the area is the Badgers, and people know that. So I think it's an enticing school, no doubt. I think it's a lot of people's goal to become a Badger, and so kudos to you for that. But we got to talk a little bit of hockey because you're a hockey guy yourself. What are your thoughts on USA Canada, and what's your prediction for Thursday night?
First off, it was awesome. I was watching the game. I didn't. The first round was all right. I didn't really know what to expect going into the USA-Canada game, and they come out swinging. And I'm like, the NHL fixed the All-Star game is my stance on it. But no, I think it'll be a great game on Thursday or tomorrow. I do think the US is going to win, but I think it'll be close. A 1-goal game probably.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. Elson and I will talk about it more later in the episode, but there's talks the NBA. I think the NHL fixed all-star games for all sports. They might have revolutionized the all-star game by doing this by nation to nation. it's awesome. I think the whole thing with the entire game, they started out with the fights, and it was physical, it was fast the entire game. It was so fun to watch. I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow night being able to watch that game. A lot of fun. Last question for you before we get into the daily draft. So, big high school golfer you mentioned, RGL this summer. Are you playing, or you don't got to make a commitment? But I mean, I could use another guy in the foursome. Elson's going to be trying to swing a club a little bit too. What's it looking like?
It could be in the cards. Every day that it goes by and I'm in Eau Claire and it's cold, I'm thinking, man, I miss golf right now. So you know what? It's far higher than 0% chances. How about that?
That's what we like to hear. So you and Jason Carpenter, we're like 2 for 2 in the last couple of weeks with people we've talked to and asked that question to. So you, me, Elson, and we'll see. Maybe Ryan will play. I think Ryan will probably play again. Elson, don't you think?
I would think so, but I'm going to be dragging y'all down. I don't think you want me.
Yeah, well,
what's
we'll
the
see.
format? Is it scramble or how's it work here?
The majority is going to be individual. It's kind of a week-to-week basis. The majority of the weeks are individual stroke play, but there are, I think, 3 scrambles fixed in, and then there's like a father-son. There's 1 week that's like a father-son scramble based on who's in the league. So yeah, a lot of cool things. Definitely recommend. But we'll see if we get Elson. Maybe we'll get Elson behind a microphone for golf. Maybe
Okay.
we'll get that. Maybe
Do some commentary.
Yeah, maybe
bring
we'll
some energy.
Yeah, we can get.
Or just give me like a 40 handicap. That would probably work too.
Max is 24, my friend. Max is 24.
Make an exception. I'll take 25.
Okay, that sounds good. There you go. Let's continue talking a little bit of golf or hockey. We're gonna not golf. We're going hockey. Daily draft here. We got a fun one actually, because we're gonna be talking some NHL uniforms. Elson Gratz, this is a time where we like to pick on you, but you did win a couple of weeks ago when we did the last one. So you did get a win, but I'm still up by 3. Kyle, you got 2 points to your letter. You are representing the guests, so no pressure, but you're on behalf of every single guest that we've ever had on, I guess, in this standard. The guests they've not done well so far, but I think you got a chance. You got a chance in this one. Daily draft, we got 3 rounds of a snake draft. We always let our guest be choose their number 1 pick. So what do you want to go? First, second, or third?
Oh, I see. I'll take third. I'll take the double pick at 3.
Okay, that's a good choice. Elson Gratz has a coin that he'll flip. I'm gonna choose heads here.
All right.
And if I win, I want the first.
This is definitely gonna end up on the ground. We've got tails. You said you wanted the first. Do I play the reverse psychology game and give you second? No, you can have first. I don't want it. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. I'm going to go with the number 1 overall pick for me. I'm going to go with the Golden Knights. I think they hit everything out of the head with all their branding. I like the Knights.
This is tough. I'm a little bit of an outsider here, not a huge NHL guy. So some of these picks might just be egregiously terrible. But when I was looking through NHL uniforms, I got to the Minnesota Wild and just kind of asked, what the hell is that? Love the logo. Let's go Minnesota.
That's Kyle's favorite team right there.
Yeah, that was my first off the board, man. Just took it. So
great pick.
Playing defense.
Yeah, right. No, Wild was 1 for me, but I really like Edmonton's jerseys. You know, they do it really well with the blue and orange. I think they do it really well, both home and away. And then I also think Canadians are a solid choice. You know, they're classic. They're really well done. Yeah.
All right, back to Elson here.
I think I'm going to go. So we're coming off the Super Bowl. The Calgary Flames, I'm pretty sure, is the hockey division of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's going to be my pick. Championship DNA.
Okay, interesting. I do believe they suck in real life. Isn't that right, Kyle? Don't they suck?
Yeah, they're not good this year, but they've been okay past years.
Okay.
I was actually at the Saddle Dome this summer where they play.
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go 2 picks here to round my draft out. I think I'm going to go Kraken. I think one of the expansion teams. I like the Kraken. I like the colorway they go, and then I'm going to go a little bit more classic, and I'm going to go I'm going to take the New York Rangers. I think that the diagonal text on the chest is iconic, and I think, believe it or not, might be wrong, but I think that they're the only team that still has that on the unis. So I'm gonna go. I like the Rangers. I like the tradition there.
Solid pick.
All right, so out of the remaining contenders, I think my favorite's got to be the New Jersey Devils with the red and black. Now, are they like the New Jersey Devils, or are they just the Jersey Devils? Because I know that like a Jersey Devil is a thing. I don't really know what it is.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
a
I
creature.
feel
of
like
some
either
sort.
probably.
All right, we'll go with the Jersey
They're
Devils.
both flying.
Okay, there you go.
All right, with my last pick of the draft, I'm gonna go with the Sharks because that logo it might be aside from the Wild, I think it's my favorite logo in the league. The shark biting a hockey stick's pretty tough.
Yeah, I had the Sharks on my list too. Elson, besides the Wild, actually the Devils. No, I didn't have the Devils, but I do like the Devil unis. Flames kind of gross. I don't like the Chiefs uniforms either in real life. But there you go. That's what we got. So I went with the Golden Knights, the Kraken, and the Rangers. Elson went Wild, Flames, and Devils. And Kyle went Oilers, Canadians, and Sharks. So that will be posted on social media as a graphic. You'll be able to vote there. Winner gets 2 points. Second place gets 1 point. And third place gets nothing. Nothing at all. Hopefully that's Elson. Probably going to be Elson.
Usually.
It's normally usually. Well, Kyle, appreciate you coming on. That's all we got for you. Best of luck the rest of the year, and maybe go Badgers next year.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. See you around. Kyle Therion. Always fun
Great
joining
interview.
him. Yeah, talking with him. He's an interesting young man. I mean, I'd love to be able to talk more with some sports with him because he's knowledgeable, no doubt about it. He's very knowledgeable and good stuff as always. Also, we got a loaded weekend girls basketball. There's girls basketball going on literally everywhere you walk. I mean, you turn left, there's girls basketball. You turn right, there's girls basketball. And then you go straight into Tuesday, and we got playoff basketball, and that's what we're all about. Nothing in the boys' side. So take
All-Star
that.
weekend?
It might be All-Star weekend. I think it's just – I don't know. But, hey, shout out the Cheesemakers, boys Cheesemakers conference champs back-to-back. Although we're not big conference guys around here. We like the area. No, we don't care about conference. It doesn't mean anything. Nothing at all.
False
I mean,
authority.
they beat Whitewater to win the conference championship. I mean, they beat them by 30, I think. But, hey, kudos to them. Conference champs. Congratulations. But
that's what we get for doubting them.
We want area champions. That's what we want. Austin, how do you feel? You're always the guy that likes to say, anyone beats Judah. No matter who they are, they always beat Judah. Well,
anyone beat who?
Judah. Yeah.
Not ringing a bell, but go on.
Yeah, well, Argyle, the number 2 team in our rankings, and we'll get to those in a second, but the number 2 team in our rankings was upset by Judah last week. Is there anything you have to say about that?
No, I would be upset by Judah too. If I had to go to the same gym as Judah, I would be really annoyed.
Okay. I don't think
Or did they lose? Did they lose?
Argyle
or did they just get
lost
mad
to
at
Judah.
him? No way.
Yeah.
I don't
look
believe
it up.
you.
Look it up. That's what I got. Yeah. So here's our rankings. Unfortunately, Argyle's lost to Judah. Doesn't do much for them. Not a lot of movement. We got one change on the boys' side. Albany bumps up over Broadhead at the 6 and 7 spots, but not a lot of movement. Cheesemakers, conference champions. Argyle and Darlington might be also conference championships. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but there's the rankings. Girls' side, no movement at all. So that's what we got. Not a lot of movement. We're getting to that point. I mean, we're at a kind of a point in the season now where teams are pretty settled in their spots. The good teams are at the top. Okay teams are in the middle, and then the bad teams are at the bottom. And there's not a lot of movement. We're not really drastically changing, but we're playoff basketball, and that's what it's all about. The girls are always ahead of the boys, so we got girls basketball coming Tuesday next week. I'm assuming the boys will be a week after or the week after that. I think 2 weeks yet till some boys playoff basketball, but we're going to get there. So we're going to preview the 3 games. We got a triple header tomorrow night. I don't know who's going to be going to these games when there's Canada, United States, 4 Nations championship game on TV, but whatever you like, understandable. And then we'll preview. Huh?
That's why no one's showing up.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll preview Tuesday's playoff games. Let's start Evansville and Broadhead, 8 versus 6.
All right, so a little bit of a story. When I was a little kid and I would hear about Broadhead, I always thought there was Brothead. And in Oklahoma, brats just kind of aren't really a thing. And I really miss them. So that's why Broadhead is going to be my pick. Reminds me of better times.
Kudos to Brothead. Interesting. They should host a tournament.
Merchandise coming soon.
Huh?
Brothead merchandise coming soon.
Yeah, we'll get a collaboration for Broadhead. Yeah, there you go. Broadhead. I'm gonna take Broadhead. What if they were like the Broadhead Brats?
I think that could work.
That
What are they
could
now?
work. The Cardinals. Too
I like Brats
traditional.
better.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna go Broadhead too. I think they get the job done over Evansville. We'll see. Peck Argyle and Blackhawk 2v5. This is kind of a big time game.
So it's kind of funny. I've never watched any of these teams play, but I don't think I've ever picked against Peck Argyle, and I feel like in some weird abstract way I'm a fan of theirs. So let's go with Peck.
There you go. I'm looking right in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. I can see people walking down the street. Are they enjoying their snow day? Are they throwing snowballs out there? What we got?
There actually is a snowball fight that I'm missing out on. It
that-
started 15 minutes ago, and I was heartbroken. When I got the notification on my phone, I was hoping it was going to say, hey, we're having a snowball fight tomorrow at some point. But that's not how these things work. So I'm missing out on a rare Tulsa activity. I thought that snowball fighting would be a non-starter down here when I decided to come to TU. I'm missing out on this to be on the Ripper Pod, so you're welcome.
Hey, you're a real man. You're a real man for doing that. I'm going to go Blackhawk. I think this is Blackhawks, their storied franchise. They got championships left and right in the history of their team. And this time of the year, we're getting to almost March. This is March. March is a big month in basketball, but we're not there yet, but we're getting there. And games like this is what you need to get fired up to perform well in March. I'm going to go with the Blackhawk Warriors to get the job done over Peck Argyle. I think it's going to be a big time win for the number 5 team in the area.
Do they actually have championships, or is that just made up?
No, you remember when Cheesemakers were really good in the Sam Matheson era? Really good.
Yeah, we'll say I remember that.
Blackhawk beat them all the time, or it was always Monroe and Blackhawk in the playoffs, at state.
So you're gonna pick for the team that beat us a whole bunch of times.
Well, if we're talking, Blackhawk is still functional.
Didn't you pick against the Eagles in the Super Bowl just because you didn't want them to win? What is this?
I did do that. Yeah, why?
Whatever.
Blackhawks got a functional girls basketball team. Have you seen Monroe's? We haven't won since Halloween. We don't even have a team anymore.
It's called a cold streak. It happens.
All of our players probably quit. We don't have a team. We're playing JV. We're scheduling JV2 scrimmages right now.
I'm just saying, I think if you forfeit a basketball game, it ends with a final score of 2-0. I know for a fact that it does in football, which is kind of weird. But, if you're playing for margin of defeat, works out well. You can't lose by 40 if you only lose by 2 because you don't show up.
Well, considering they put in all that work and they average 20-some, how many points do they average a game? 28 points a game. I'd take a forfeit for 26 points less if the other team forfeited.
Otherwise, I was in the gym working on my jump shot for about 45 minutes today, and I think I made about 6 baskets, so I know how they feel.
Understandable. You might be a starter on that team, though.
That's not a compliment.
Let's go. Albany Monticello, best team in the land against Judah.
Got to think this over. Judah proved me wrong last time. Am I going to change my views? Change my opinion? No, absolutely not. Albany Monticello by 70.
Wow. Judah, since the last time we had a podcast, they've won 2 games. They have not lost in the last
2 week. Double digits?
Yeah, they're hot. They're peaking at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'll go Albany Monticello. This is a dynasty in the makings here. Albany Monticello, a star-studded lineup. I'm gonna go them, and I'm gonna take. You know what? I'll double that. They win by 70. I think it's possible. They win by 70. I like it. That's
all right.
A good pick. All right, let's go to some playoffs. These are some games against teams that I don't even know exist. But we got some area games, and I will say, before we get into this, I think the matchups for our area teams are favorable. I think they're decent.
Oh, it definitely looks like it to me.
I think they're decent. But let's start. Southwestern, a 4-18 Southwestern taking on Blackhawk, who is 13-18. These are current records. What do we got?
So at the beginning of the season, Tulsa football played some random FCS school. They were like Northeastern or something, or Northwestern Tech, maybe. It was a name like Southwestern, and they were the worst organized football team that I've ever watched. Still had a tie game for like a quarter, but we won't get into that. And then I did some digging on their history. Let me look this up real quick. I'll look up Northwestern FCS. I want to make sure I get this team right. They are the North. Let me look up. I promise this is going to be worth it. Worst team in FCS.
Is it not Northeastern? I know there's a U college called Northeastern.
It might be Northeastern. Northeastern FCS. Why is this so difficult? Well, basically the story behind them is that one of their players, I believe, was murdered mid-season and everybody quit and they folded and they have been really bad since then.
Wow.
So that is
horrific.
bad, and I really hope that doesn't happen to Southwestern, but teams with Western and then another direction in the name aren't good at their sport, so Blackhawk.
I'm looking up the schedule. A common person. Okay, I mean, that was malicious in its own right, whatever your reasoning is right there for that. Rest in peace.
I wish
to that.
nothing but the best to Southwestern Wisconsin.
Okay. I'm looking at any normal person would have just simply looked up Tulsa's football schedule and seen who they played.
Oh my God, you're right.
And that's what I did. And it was Northwestern State. They beat them 62-28.
It was a close game for a long time. I'm not even kidding about that. They had like a blocked kick return for a touchdown and like an off tackle run for a touchdown. It was like, holy crap, are we going to lose to the worst FCS team? Not quite.
It's sad that your highest rusher had 64 yards.
Was that Watkins? Who was that?
Avant.
Lloyd Avant. Yeah, I think he lost the starting job midseason. Future Pro Bowler in the NFL, though.
Really?
Correct.
Francis had 299 yards passing.
Kirk, he also got benched midseason, and then he got put back in, and then he got benched again. He's the starting QB next year, though, by the looks of it.
So that's not good.
Cooper Laga going pro.
Okay.
We'll say.
There you go. Anyways, I'm going to go I don't even know what game we're picking here.
Judah Palmyra?
I'm going to take Blackhawk. Yeah. I'll take Blackhawk. Big. I'll take Blackhawk big. Blackhawk big for sure. All right, let's get back to this. Judah versus Palmyra Eagle. I've never heard of this school in my life.
Okay, so part of me wants to pick against Judah.
Okay.
But I'm actually going to pick with Palmyra Eagle because that is an awesome name. Judah's not going to lose. Palmyra Eagle, wherever they are, is going to win.
So for a Judah team that's really bad all year long, I mean, a 5-win Judah team, they're playing a 500 team right now. They got a crazy matchup on their hands right now. They have a great opportunity. They haven't lost in a week, maybe longer. They're hot. They're peaking at the right time. Give me the Panthers. Give me Judah in a big-time win over Palmyra Eagle. I don't even know where that's at. It might be an Illinois school. I'm going to go with Judah.
Sounds like a Minnesota school to me.
I was kind of thinking Michigan, actually, though.
Midwest somewhere, not Wisconsin.
Kind of crazy. I mean, 4-18 Southwesterns taking on 13-8 Blackhawk, but a 5-18 Judah is taking on 12-11 Palmyra.
It's just not even fair.
Interesting. That's a favorable matchup for the Judah Panthers. I'm going to take them. Let's go. Richland Center taking on Judah or Broadhead. Make sense. A 2-21 team is playing a 12-11 Broadhead team. I mean, come on.
Have you ever been to Richland Center?
I might have driven through. I don't think I've ever stepped foot in Richland Center though.
I know they've got a Goodwill there. And I think they have a drive-in movie theater too. I think that's all they have there. Maybe a couple houses. It's not surprising to me that they're 2-21. Let's go Broadhead.
I'm also going to go Broadhead. I think 2-21 says a lot. Says everything you need to know.
They're basically Judah.
They're worse than Judah. Imagine that. Worse than Judah. Imagine, you know how you always say like the team. Like imagine that you have instead of just saying Judah, it's pretty simple. Richland Center. Imagine having to say Richland Center every single time.
That does not roll off the tongue whatsoever.
Not at all. Monroe and Elkhorn. I talk about a favorable matchup, though. A 3-win team taking on an 8-14 team. Now, these are with sports records, so, I mean, they seem pretty legit, like, based on the amount of games. I would imagine they're pretty legit. But preface that. They're not always – with sports isn't always the greatest. But Monroe, a 3-win team, has a matchup against an 8-win Elkhorn team.
If there's a team that deserves to end Monroe's season, it's a team with a cool name like Elkhorn. Distinct from Elkhorn, which would be even better because Elkhorns are really cool. I've got a miniature one at home, but an Elkhorn is all right too, so I'll pick them.
Yeah, in my trek to Milwaukee and back to Monroe, I always have the luxury of driving by Elkhorn in their high school. I swear to God, more times than not, they are not in school. I swear to God, they just must have snow days every other day of the week.
Oh, they're
They just-
practicing basketball in that time.
They could be, but there's no cars in the parking lot. So maybe they bus. Maybe they have like a team hotel. I don't know. But Elkhorn, I get to drive by that fancy field house they have. I think they have an indoor football field. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
I believe so. I mean, that's what the building looks like on the outside. Maybe it's just a massive room. Maybe they got a gym in there. I don't know, but it looks like the size of an indoor football field.
Just
They've
a
got
warehouse.
crazy facilities. They came in and dominated Monroe. They ended Monroe's football season. They're going to end Monroe's girls basketball season too. Give me Elkhorn, whatever. I think they're the – what is Elkhorn?
Elk?
I know this. Yeah, the Elk. Elkhorn Elks.
Are
Yeah.
they really?
I think that's actually what they are. Look that up. Fact check that for us. I think they are the Elks. There's something. It's like something with their name.
Elkhorn, Wisconsin High School. They might be the Elk.
I think they're the Elk.
Their logo is an elk. Why is this so hard? Max Preps. Elkhorn Elks. Let's go.
How about that? Elkhorn Elks. That's a top 5 name in the state of Wisconsin.
It's ball knowledge.
Yeah.
Never seen them before in my life. Instinctively knew.
Give me Elkhorn. Big in this game. Bigfoot taking on Evansville.
Are they the Bigfoot Big Feet or the Bigfoot Bigfoots?
I think they're the Bigfoot something normal.
Give me the Big Feet over Evansville.
All right, I'll take Evansville in this one. I think they get the job done. I think they got the upper hand against the Big Feet. Bigfoot, though, shout out Bigfoot. Their facilities are phenomenal. They got some crazy play. I mean, if Monroe High School wants to take note after some good sports facilities, head over to Bigfoot, wherever Bigfoot is. It's my way a little bit. They got some crazy facilities. Never been in the gym, but I believe this game might be in Evansville too, so maybe a little bit of home court advantage for the, I believe, Blue Devils. We got a game here, Westby. I don't even know where Westby is. It seems like this is like the equivalent to like a Paoli, Wisconsin type city. That's what I envision.
Westby's in Wisconsin, I think, isn't it?
It has to be. I mean, they're playing.
I think Paoli's it's like probably Paoli, but without the art scene, like without the
not as cool of a
things
city
to do there. Ah, okay.
Yeah. They play Darlington. Who are you going to take?
I think it's going to be a bad week for teams that have West in the name. I hope all their players don't die, but I do hope that they all lose. Going to pick Darlington.
Yeah, you're very gruesome today. I will also go Darlington.
That's a bad thing to say. My heart goes out to, was it Northwestern State?
Yep.
That was really awful. I'm impressed they even put a team together this year.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them. We'll edit that out. we're gonna edit the last 30 seconds of this podcast out. Hopefully, although it's live. All right. Anyways, I'll go Darlington here. I think Darlington's a really good basketball team. Excuse me, they got a good football team too. But I like Darlington. I do think that this is a fun one. I don't understand how a 6-win Westby team is playing a 15-win Darlington team when a 6-win Bigfoot team is playing a 9-win Evansville team. Like, is there really no teams even remotely in between there that it could be more fair?
They're ranked on strength of defeat.
So 15-win Darlington, and I understand there's different divisions and regions. I understand this, but 15-win Darlington is playing a 6-win Westby, 12-win Broadhead's playing a 2-win Richland Center. I don't get it.
Put it into a random number generator.
Maybe. I don't understand it all. There's questions with football rankings. I got questions with girls basketball rankings too. We need some change in this ranking system, whatever it might be.
Should be the Ripper Brands rankings.
Yeah, let us do it. We'll make some crazy. The I-69 rivalry. We'll bring it
Every
in.
year. Every game is the I-69 rivalry. That's the
Exactly.
entire season.
That's all we need. We were creating USA versus Canada hype in the I-69 rivalry. I mean, that's all we need. And
Literally.
here we are.
Yep.
We get to watch Richmond Center take on Broadhead. I mean, what is this? Anyways, last game of the week, Fenimore and New Glarus.
You ever been to Fenimore?
No.
They got a road that I turn on to go and see my grandma who lives in Basketball, Wisconsin. Do they have anything else there? I think they have a train museum. They've got a little
They got a
cheese
college.
store as
Southwest
well. No, they
Tech.
don't.
Lane Meyer. Owen Gilbertson, Southwest Tech.
They don't have Fenimore, Wisconsin does not have Southwest Tech, does it?
Southwest Tech. The boys of Southwest Tech. Shout out Owen. Shout out Lane.
I'm looking this up. Southwest Tech, Wisconsin.
Fenimore.
I don't believe. Oh my God, Fenimore has a college.
Fenimore has a college,
Wow.
dude. They don't just have a road. They got a college.
They got a road and a college, 2 for 1. I almost want to pick them over New Glarus, but now we're gonna go New Glarus.
I'm also. This is a tight game. This is 2 very comparable mid teams right here. For the boys of Southwest Tech, give me Fenimore. Give me
Fenimore wins the mid off.
Yeah, the mid off. I like it. I'm gonna take Fenimore for the boys of Southwest Tech. They've got a college. They got a good girls basketball team. Well, not really. They got a mid girls basketball, but better than New Glarus. I'll take Fenimore. Shout out Southwest Tech.
The more you know.
Oh boy. Anyways, that's all we got for basketball. No, we got to get out of this basketball conversation, dude. We got to move on. That was horrendous. We're talking about people dying and mid teams, and we're hating on cities, and yeah, that was a bad segment, Nelson. But we're gonna talk a little hockey. We're gonna talk a little hockey. Cheesemaker hockey. How about this? Last night, Cheesemakers, first time we've ever talked about Cheesemaker hockey in the podcast, by the way. So shout out the boys. Last night got a tough one. They lost 7-1 to Waukesha in the playoffs, so their season's over. Can't get over that hump. Can't get that playoff win. We always get matched up against some Milwaukee school that's like 3 times the size of ours, maybe 4 times, and just kicks our butt. I got to say, though, so Thursday night, I went back home. And went out to the last home game of the season. They took on Beloit, which is always kind of a fun game. Some haymakers sometimes get thrown. I mean, I can't tell the difference if it's hockey or WWE. But what a game it was. Overtime, goes into overtime. 3 seconds left in overtime. Maybe, I think it was like 3 seconds. 3-4 seconds. Calls a timeout. Draws up this play. Offense's own faceoff. Patrick Alt, who we might get on the pod at some point. We want to get Patrick Alt on the pod at some point. Picks this puck up. It's kind of a faceoff's won by the Cheesemakers, but it's not super clean. But picks up some loose change. Wasn't the play that drawn up, but absolute snipe, top cheddar for an overtime win. Overtime buzzer beater. It's like one thing to have like a third period buzzer beater, but in overtime. I mean, come on. Place went bananas. I mean, the roof literally flew off of the place. If I would have known better, it was USA versus Canada. It's truly what a game it was. Shout out to Cheesemakers. Patrick Alt, absolutely electric. It was great. It was awesome to watch. But then they couldn't get the win against Waukesha.
I do have a question because this is just something I don't know. How do buzzer beaters work in hockey? It's got to be off the stick by the buzzer, or it's got to cross the line by the buzzer?
Cross the line by the buzzer, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. So it's like you can have an almost buzzer beater, or is
it's
there
not like a real buzzer? I mean, we're not talking real buzzer beater,
but it's
here.
Basically.
But like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
That's the way you describe. I could picture it in my head, and it was beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful. What a game it was. Elson Gratz, we need a break. We need one really bad. I don't know. I don't see the right now. On the other side, we're going to get to some more things that we're a little bit more knowledgeable about. Understandable. I mean, it's been a tough first half, tough 40 minutes. I can't believe we've been talking for 45 minutes already about people dying.
We're great at this.
But here we go. Second half, we're going to the second half. We're going to halftime. We'll make some adjustments. We'll be back out. Shout out Northwestern State. They're a good football team.
But actually shout out.
Shout out Northwestern State. We'll have some fun in the second half. Some golf, some basketball, some hockey, some football. Loaded second half. We'll be back. What up, y'all? Just want to remind you about the best sunflower seeds in the business. Baseball and softball season is right around the corner, and we want to make sure you are well prepared. Scan the QR code on your screen and check out Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. Get yourself some of the best seeds in the business. Do it now so you don't forget. Are you a fan of Grant Horvat or Ben Kruger? If so, you are in luck. Scan the QR code or head over to primalgolfapparel.com and use code RIPPER for 15% off your next order. Make sure you check them out and get yourself some of their high-quality golf apparel now.
The following podcast features half-biased and controversial sports takes. All predictions are simply predictions, and we truly don't know what will happen. We will try our best to keep you entertained, but no guarantees. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to our show. Much love, Ripper Brands.
All right, welcome back. Episode 66 of the Ripper Podcast. Halftime adjustments. Coach was furious at us after that first half. We did not put on a good show. Our apologies for that. We'll be back. We're better than ever. Appreciate Kyle Therion for showing up. We had a good first quarter. First quarter was solid with them. Second quarter, man, whew, it got ugly. We need basketball.
Dipped on us.
Yeah, we need some basketball season to be gone. We need to get to spring sports soon because we're running out of things to talk about with these guys. But hey, we got a fun one. Some golf coming up. Genesis Invitational, relocated to Torrey Pines. We got Mexico Open preview. A little bit of March Madness bracketology. We'll talk about what that might look like. Some of that amazingness stuff is coming up here in the next month. NHL Four Nations face off. We got U.S. Canada. 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of a hockey game. I mean, come on. It doesn't get any more electric than that. And Elson and I will be previewing or releasing our top 16 big boards. First anything that we've released in this kind of off season. Yes, super excited to be able to get to that. Let's start with a little bit of golf. Tournament recap, the Genesis Invitational. California Wildfires relocated from Riviera Country Club over to Torrey Pines. It was a fun one. Ludwig Oberg gets the job done. Thursday started out with crazy conditions. It was raining. It was maybe even, I don't even know what was coming down out of the air, but crazy conditions. Players had a really tough time even doing anything on Thursday, but it opened up. Sunny days, the players had short sleeves on. It got to be the normal California, weather that we're used to. Ludwig Oberg has a crazy Sunday comeback, comes back, birdies the 18th, wins the Genesis Invitational. I would say this tournament at Torrey Pines success. Ludwig Oberg earlier in the Farmers Insurance had success at Torrey Pines already, so he's kind of likes Torrey Pines a little bit, but he was sick. He was leading early. There was a bug. I think there might be still a bug, but there was a bug going around during that time of the season, and he's back. He kind of fell out of the lead a little bit as the weekend kind of went on because of this sickness. He battled through a lot of players withdrawal, but he stayed in because he was in contention. But he finds a way to get the job done. The Genesis Invitational, fun week. Excited to see. We got the Mexico Open coming up, and then into a pretty good stretch of some good golf with some big time tournaments. Elson, any chance of catching the Genesis over the weekend?
What channel's it on?
CBS for some of it, otherwise Golf Channel.
Maybe. I will definitely tune in because this is something I've been thinking about. You were talking about how there is rain and how that impacts the playing conditions. Snow golf. If there's snow golf, I am 100% going to tune in. We've got snow in Tulsa. Why not snow in California?
Yeah, I don't know.
It is for one, who's Torrey?
Torrey Pines. That is the name of the golf course.
Okay, who's Torrey?
I don't know who Torrey is.
Okay, so no golf knowledge. And then where did you say the Mexico Open was next week around?
In Mexico.
Okay. Snow in Mexico. There's snow golf. I didn't catch the Genesis Invitational, but I'll watch the Mexico Open
Okay,
if there's
good.
snow on the ground.
I probably not going to be any snow in Mexico, but that'd be something.
So
Maybe.
probably not going to watch then.
I wonder if there's any tournaments in Oklahoma. Is there any golf tournaments that we get live coverage from Elson in Oklahoma?
I think we had this conversation, and there aren't this year, but maybe in the future, because that would be fun. And I would be a terrible golf commentator.
Oh,
There's
boy.
a chance that would be like really funny in an abstract, sad sort of way.
Yeah, no doubt. Oklahoma. I don't think there's anything in Oklahoma. Could be wrong.
I don't think I've ever seen a golf course down here. I mean, they take so much water, and we're in a drought like 3/4 of the time, so maybe that's discouraging.
What's so like Wisconsin, like to get from the southern border to the northern border, it's like probably 6-7 hours maybe all the way up there. What is it like to get from one side of Oklahoma to the other? Do you know at all?
North to south is about 4 or 5. It's not as much as Wisconsin.
Okay.
East to west, Oklahoma has the panhandle.
Oh, that's a long trip. That
That would be a long
day.
trip. That would probably be 8 or 9 hours, I would have to think. But there's nothing really over there in that area. I mean, kind of central eastern Oklahoma. That's where you got OKC. That's where you got Tulsa. I imagine there are other cities in Oklahoma, but I can't think of any right now. So this is where everything is at.
Gotcha. So I can't help but notice on the background of you, it's starting to get dark. I mean, it's pretty dark there.
The dynamic lighting is going great.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
But like first half of the episode, I mean, it was light out there, and I was pitch black. You're in Central Time Zone, aren't you?
Yep, same time zone.
Interesting.
So that's not like a trick of the light. It's actually dark right now.
It's pitch black. I mean,
Is it overcast?
I
that
don't
could do
know if
it.
today was or not.
Like this is lighter because this is the sunset here. It's like if you go the other way, it would probably be pretty close to pitch black.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is. I'm looking at the sunset.
Yeah, maybe. There you go. Okay, let's get into this now. Fantasy golf. Last week, not a really good week. I mean, 347 is not bad, but we went backwards in the rankings.
As usual.
Yeah, tough one. But here we go. We got the Mexico Open. Akshay Bhatia, probably the best player in the field. Ranked 30th in the world. Aaron Rye's 29th, but I would take Akshay over Aaron Rye. But Jake Knapp, defending champion, he's going to try and make a play, make a move. Kurt Kitayama there. Carl Phillips. I picked him because he is the first ambassador signed by Sunday Red. Tiger Woods knows something that we don't, and I'm going to take him. I think he's going to be a good player. And then Taylor Montgomery, I think, is a sneaky pick. So there we go. Who knows how this is going to go? We're kind of losing hope. We need something big. We need to choose a winner. I had a lot of confidence, dude. I had a lot of confidence coming into this, like into the season. I was like, we're going to pick winners every week. Like I was legitimately, like I almost put that on the graphic, like how many winners we've picked. That would be zero right now if I would have done that.
If it makes you feel better, I predicted not every single game of the NFL season, but all but like 2 or 3 weeks, and I did not get a single perfect score prediction. There were 4 or 5 where I was 1 point off, but I was never perfect. So picking winners. Hey, if you're picking second placers, which I assume you are, we're still doing great.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I am or not. We'll say yeah, but probably not, to be honest. Let's talk some hockey. 4 nations face off. U.S. Canada. I mean, this was electric, man. I mean, like legitimately, opening face off, they dropped the gloves. One Kachuk brother. Then they face off again. The other Kachuk brother drops the gloves. Then they go like 9 seconds into the game. They're like, someone wins the face off. They go into the other zone. There's a whistle. Goalie covers it. Then there's another fight. I mean, we got 3 guys in the bench to start the game. Place is electric. Canada booed the United States national anthem. I mean, there's major animosity between the two teams. And now we get a rematch on Thursday. I mean, they're talking Biz, who's one of the most, like, he's a big-time hockey media, Barstool guy, works for TNT. He said there would be a national emergency if Canada loses this game. He's Team Canada, too.
A national emergency in the U.S. or in Canada?
Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. So, big-time game.
I'm in favor of a hybrid hockey scoring system. You know, like how boxing is scored, where it's pretty much 8, 9, or 10. It should be like that based on the player fights. So if you score a goal, there are goals in hockey, right? Like this is stupid. There are goals, right?
Yes.
Okay. You get a point, just like normal. Except you've got like all the 10s and 9s and 8s going out. So actually scoring goals is maybe like 10% of it. I think that would make hockey even more entertaining than it already is.
The best thing about the whole Four Nations face-off, like this whole thing that literally like any sports fan in the entire world is thinking about it. Like everyone's talking about it. We're talking about an all-star game here. I mean, this is the alternative for an all-star game. I mean, normally we're watching hockey players have closest to the whole competitions in the all-star challenge, like skills competition or like hardest shot, but like we're watching basically the Olympics right now. And in a time where like US and Canada do not like each other, absolutely electricity. I'm loving it. We get a rematch for the championship. I mean, you thought Saturday night was good. Wait till you see what a championship US versus Canada game looks like. Watch out. Watch out. But also, congrats. NBA interested. Players are in favor of like a USA versus the world all-star kind of format. Are you favored? Is hockey with this Four Nations thing revolutionizing the entire all-star, like any all-star game or experience amongst all sports?
You know what? I think at least for a lot of sports that have like a USA sect and then a not USA sect, like you couldn't do this with the Pro Bowl, I don't think. Giannis threw that idea out, and I think it would be fantastic for the NBA because obviously the NBA in terms of the talent that's on the court is easily as good as ever. Players are more athletic than ever. They're more skilled than ever. We can talk about like actual NBA games up until the playoffs all we want and how the level of competition is kind of spotty, but the All-Star game isn't even a competition. For me, it's painful to watch the NBA All-Star games. It's like you're not even really playing a contact sport. Show some effort. And I think it's been proven that the way you do that is you actually create some rivalries. And we've seen this with the World Baseball Classic. Now we've seen it with hockey. If you get guys fighting for their country, they're willing to go out there and actually play with some energy. And I think that would be an infinitely more entertaining NBA All-Star game.
100%. I think they should adapt it. The players are on board. Obviously, it's working for the NHL. I think that the US-Canada game was the highest viewed hockey game in like a long time. Like all hockey, I think it was big time. I'm excited for Thursday, tomorrow night. I'm pumped. I can't wait to watch what this has to present. I think it's gonna be outstanding. I'm fired up for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think
Everybody drops the gloves immediately.
Yeah.
Get rid of the puck. Can't see it anyway.
That's right. Let's toss around someone's hand. Chop the hand off. Most unlucky person of the game. Use the hand.
So I'm the morbid one on this podcast.
This is a morbid episode. This might be an episode that might be getting deleted. I mean, we can't.
One more tangent. Last night, when we officially got the news that today's classes were going to be canceled, everyone kind of knew, but you have to confirm and make it official. What caught my eye as I was scrolling through YouTube, working on my big board, was a 2.5-hour documentary about Jack the Ripper, the killer in 1800s London. Watching that before bed was not a good idea, and that's all I'll say.
Do you have some nightmares or what?
It's not like prime winding down material.
It's winding up. I think you were getting a little tight, like a little tense, and you're like trying to go to sleep.
I was checking over my back.
Yeah. There you go. Let's talk some NFL offseason. We got our top 16 big boards. But before we get to it, Elson and I have created a schedule. We're going to release on the podcast. Elson's going to he does predictive, and he does what he would do. So he does some other things as well with NFL Sidekicks. But we got the mock draft schedule. We're going to release 3 mocks here on the podcast. 1.0 will be next week. And then 2.0 will be the last episode in March. And then 3.0 will be the episode the Wednesday before the draft. So the day before the draft. So we're excited. 3 mock drafts. I'm assuming we'll probably go for sure first round as we get to maybe down the road. I don't know. Maybe they'll feature, but we'll see. But that's the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 schedule. Super excited. But we're going to kick off our NFL draft coverage this week with our big boards. And this is something I don't know about how. I'm sure you're pretty in depth. You've got a pretty good idea of where your guys are at.
My
this is-
big board is getting finished up tomorrow. I was wrong about how much time it would take to like really hammer down my 1.0, and I'll send it to you first.
okay.
It's a little bit sick.
Sick.
Yeah, let's see. It's probably the 1.0 is going to have about 500 guys on it with round grades and athletic profiles and all of that, and that's going to be like the most minimalistic version of it. It's going to be painful to look at. You're going to look at it and say, wow, somebody should not have spent all that time making that. So sneak peek to my top 500 or however many big board coming out. But I'm excited for this because this is the first time we're really talking draft on the pod.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, it's time. Super Bowl's gone. It's time for draft coverage. I haven't done many grading. Usually I'll go through and create like a grading system for my players and kind of rank based off that. I'm just kind of doing it just based off intuition more so with this current big board, but I probably have a little bit of a grading system figured out for my 1.0 draft mock coming up next week. How do we want to go? Should we start from 16 to 1? And
I think so.
Each exchange who we got and give this a short little brief reason why or something, what we like about them.
I think so. Like, I could tell you a player of mine. We could chat about him for a minute and then move on to the next one. Who do you have 16?
I got Luther Burden III, wide receiver out of Missouri.
You know what's really funny about that is I also have Luther Burden III, 16.
Wow. I feel very confident. This is a
good.
huge compliment for me. I think that, I mean, I'm on the same page as you. Is that real?
Absolutely. I think that Luther Burden is kind of getting some hate because he had big preseason expectations and he was in that miserable Missouri passing offense with Brady Cook where nothing really looked right. And he didn't put up the 1,500-yard season that some people were expecting. But you look at his share in that bad passing offense, and it's like he's all they had. This is still a really good route runner, a guy with great hands, can play in the slot, can play out wide, and he is really shifty after the catch. People are comping him to Debo. He's not Debo. Luther Burden cannot play running back like Debo Samuel can, but I do comp him to Golden Tate, who is a really good, tough, shifty slot receiver who had like a 10-year NFL career. I think Luther Burden's a really good player.
Yeah, I like him. At 15, I got my first and only quarterback in the top 16, Cam Ward.
I have Cam Ward a little higher. Do you factor in positional value in your big board or no?
No, I just
okay. Then I would definitely have Cam Ward right around here. I've got him at 4. And that's with positional value.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he played top 5 probably with positional value for sure.
He's really fun to watch. He kind of like plays in slow motion in the pocket. You'll see some of his highlights where he's standing there like a Madden quarterback. He's like flat-footed, and then he finally sees his man come up, and he just kind of flicks it on over there.
That's a really good point.
He's a playmaker out of structure as well. This is just a guy who sees the game slow in the right way. It's like things are slowing down for him. The question is he going to turn the ball over at the NFL level? Because this is a guy who turned it over at Incarnate Word. He's worked his way up at Washington State, I believe it was last year. This was his best season in terms of not throwing picks at Miami. He's got to keep that up. But I think that he is the franchise quarterback in this year's draft.
Yeah, I think to me, he's the best guy in the draft. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's got better talent than Shedeur does. I think he's going to have the best opportunity to turn out to be successful. I think he's got potential. I know this class is getting a lot of hate for the quarterback abilities. A lot of overrated guys. I still think Cam Ward is going to be overrated, but I think he's got the best potential on anybody. At 14, I have Walter Nolan, D tackle out of Ole Miss.
I got Walter Nolan at 9.
Okay.
This is a player I'm really impressed by. He's versatile. He's athletic. He was at the Senior Bowl, and he was like one of the highest rated prospects at the Senior Bowl, and you could tell. And what I really liked about him is like Shamar Stewart, who had a good week. He checked out early. He didn't practice day 3. Mike Green out of Marshall, who's just going to miss this list for me. Spoiler alert. Had a great first 2 days, checked out early. Not Walter Nolan. He stayed, and he just rubbed it in. Nobody could block this guy. I think he's going to be a fantastic defensive tackle, and he'll probably take some snaps on the edge as well.
Love it. 13, a guy who I like for the value that he's at. I really like him. But I got Nick Scorton, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Did I pronounce his last name correct?
Flawlessly. I do not have Nick Scorton in the top 16. He actually was my number 1 edge. heading into this summer. And it's always hard to evaluate positions like quarterback and edge over the summer because they're very athleticism dependent. Like a quarterback needs a big arm to go really high most of the time. An edge rusher's got to be a really good athlete. And Nick Scorton is just kind of the safe player. And so that's why he's fallen down the board, because there are some more athletic guys like Abdul Carter, who I imagine we'll get to, who kind of pushed him down. But this is still a really good run defender, a guy with long arms who's going to get to the quarterback consistently. I like him a lot.
At 12, I got Will Johnson, DB out of Washington.
I do not have Will Johnson. Wait, Will Johnson. He's out of Michigan, right?
Michigan. Where did I say?
Washington.
Oh, Michigan, yes.
Basically the same thing.
Yes.
I don't have Will Johnson in the top 10, or excuse me, in the top 16. In terms of sheer talent, I think he would get there. I got to look something up real quick.
Fact-checking wizard he is.
Fact-checking right now.
Is this position you're in right now, is that what Jack the Ripper put you in? Shoulders up like this, trying to type? Are we tense like that when we're watching that?
We're tense all the time. It's all work, no play. Always checking over the shoulder here.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was wrong. I have Will Johnson at 7. I thought so. It didn't seem right that I would leave him out. I think he's the best cornerback in this class. I was thinking of Benjamin Morrison, who you would know about, dealing with that hip injury. You can argue they're kind of 1A and 1B. It's just Morrison has the injury. I like Will Johnson a lot. I think he's scheme independent, can play man, can play zone, going to be a really excellent corner.
He's been a guy that like the last couple of years, I feel like he's been up there. Like he's just been, people know like this is his year and he's going to be one of the better players to come out. I think he's going to be talented. I think he's going to be, I feel like one of the more pro-ready kind of style guys that'll be good to go and insert him into that DB room when you need him. At 11, I got Tet McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona.
I've got Tet at 5.
Yeah, I like it. Now you like him.
I think he's the best wide receiver in the class. I had him at number 2 among wide receivers over the summer because I liked Luther Burden a lot, but I thought it was close. You'll see a lot of Drake London comps for him, and that's something I'm proud of because I said Drake London over Summer, and now it's like the so-and-so experts like on NFL.com. Now they're saying Drake London. Feels like that's a win for me. But this is a guy who's a ball winner, like baseball mitts for hands. There's no catch that's off the table for him, but he's smooth as well. I don't know if he has a basketball background, but he plays like he has a basketball background like Drake London. Really nice route runner. Just runs like a beautiful slant route. No waste of movement. I think he's going to be a fantastic X wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, I love him. At 10, I got Jalen Walker, edge rusher out of Georgia.
I've got Jalen Walker at 13. Really athletic guy. Played some off-ball linebacker. He's still learning. But with edge rusher, it's one of the positions where that's kind of okay. Like you can get some wins off athleticism, just burning the outside shoulder of the tackle. You can put your hands in the chest, win with a bull rush. You don't need to be a technician to win that way. He's going to get some pressures. I think he can be like stronger Nolan Smith at the next level. Now that's 10 for you, right?
Yep, that's 10 for me.
So I should do the guys that you didn't hit who are in my top 16. Do you have a Emeka Egbuka on the list?
I did not, no.
He was 15 for me. I have him one spot above Luther Burden. It's cliche to give him the Jackson Smith and Jigba comp because like slot receiver out of Ohio State, slot receiver out of Ohio State. But I think they're really similar. They're both extremely smart, always sitting down in the right spot, fantastic hands, and you just know what you're getting. So that's why I have Egbuka at 15. I think he's super high floor. And then Jahdae Barron out of Texas, I have at 14.
I don't have him.
He was locked down this year. I think he gave up like a 45 passer rating when targeted, something like 48% completion. Nobody could get open from this guy. I was not a Jahdae Barron believer over summer. He was a slot corner. Didn't think he had super fluid hips. Didn't think he was super fast. Texas said they're going to play him on the perimeter. I was really wrong about that. He can play. I think he's very Devin Witherspoon-esque. Can play slot, can play outside, going to make plays against the run. I think he's probably the 3rd or 4th best corner in a pretty solid corner class. And then you have Kelvin Banks higher, I would think.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll get to Kelvin Banks in a minute. What about Armand Membu? This is not a good offensive tackle class. We'll get to Will Campbell out of LSU, right? He's on your list. Kelvin Banks and Will Campbell, I think, can play tackle. I think they're better at guard. If you want a pure guard, I think that's Armand Membu. This is a guy you can't run through because he's big and he's kind of got shock absorbers for legs. You're not going to bull rush him, but he moves really well. He's a guy that you can get on the move and just let him blow guys up in front of him. He might be my offensive tackle one, depending on what I do with Will Campbell, but we'll talk about him. So that's my 16 through 10.
There you go. At number 9, this is going to be an interesting one. I don't know if you even have him in your top 16, but Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State.
I was actually wrong. That was my 16 through 11. Tyler Warren is my 10th overall prospect. Man, we knew there was potential. He is so much fun. He's one of the most fun players in college football this year. He's got his own Wildcat package in the playbook because he's that athletic. He's a beast after the catch. He just throws guys off of him, but he can get open as well. I don't think he's a burner. I don't think he's the fastest tight end in this class, but he doesn't have to be. He catches everything. He wants it more than everybody's matched up with. I don't like to throw comps like this around. I think he can be George Kittle. I see a lot of George Kittle in his game.
Wow. Yeah, he's a talented player. He can play anything, really.
Really good blocker.
Yeah, I like George Kittle a lot, actually. I think he's similar play style. I think similar personality. I like it a lot. At number 8, I have James Pierce Jr., edge rusher out of Tennessee.
I don't have James Pierce Jr. in my top 16, but he would not miss it by a lot. Right now, I've got him as a true first-round grade, super athletic. People, I think, expected this like big step up from James Pierce Jr. We just don't usually see that with edge rushers. Usually the athletic guys kind of keep winning on athleticism until they get drafted into the NFL. They get coached up and they go from there. I think he could be a really good player.
This is a guy, number 7, who I remember was a tough defeat for the Fighting Irish. Mikael Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia.
I do not have Mikael Williams in my top 16. Really? That's not going to be popular. He's just not a very good pass rusher, man. He's really strong. He's probably the best run defending edge in the class. You know who he kind of reminds me of is Trayvon Walker. You remember Trayvon Walker went first overall?
Yeah, sounds crazy.
Over Aiden Hutchinson. Trayvon Walker's a good player in the NFL. Really solid run defender, putting it together as a pass rusher. It's taken him a couple of years. I think it might take Mikael Williams a couple of years. I think he's going to return value. I don't think he should go in the top 10, but still a guy I'm excited to watch, of course.
Number 6, I do have Kelvin Banks here at offensive tackle from Texas.
I've got Kelvin Banks at 12, like I mentioned. He's athletic. He's strong enough to play tackle at the NFL level. He's going to be a fantastic zone blocker. To me, and we'll talk about Campbell from LSU, would you consider moving him into guard, or is he stuck at tackle for you? That's where you're going to play him.
Potentially. I mean, I feel like I don't know enough about him to make that kind of decision or assumption. I feel like he had, I mean, towards the end of the year into the postseason, he had some injury issues, and I think that hindered him to see kind of how he plays at the highest, the biggest, when the lights are the brightest, at the biggest point in his career. So I think that's kind of tough, but he's a guy who he's been up there all year long.
It's true.
And I mean, I like Kelvin Banks. I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about him in terms of whether or not to move him to guard or not, but I'll leave that to the experts like you.
Well, and we're going to get like the arm length numbers on these guys at the combine. I'm not like you've got to come in above a certain threshold or we're arbitrarily moving you to a different position guy. Like if his arms are 32.5 inches, I'm still trying him at tackle because I think he can stick there. And I don't think that there are many day one starters at tackle in this year's class. You got a guy with a chance like Kelvin Banks, give him a shot, is my opinion.
Number 5, my boy Ashton Jeanty.
I've got Jeanty at 6. Elite contact balance. You could make like a 20-minute highlight reel of him shrugging off 3+ defenders or taking 4 guys just to get him on the ground. He's got good vision. Pass catching is arguably the worst part of his game, and I had him comped to Alvin Kamara over the summer, who's obviously a pretty good pass catcher. It's hard to call him generational because I think he's a lot like Bijan. Definitely a once every few years at worst type of running back prospect. Now my comp, I want to know if you think this is terrible, is Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch has this reputation as like a bruiser, like he's going to lower the shoulder and just put you on your back. If you watch like the Beastquake runs, it was mostly defenders hanging off of him, and he's not the fastest guy, but you just can't get him on the ground. And that's what I see with Ashton Genty.
I love Ashton Genty, and obviously with him being a prospective potential guy for the Cowboys to get, I'm all about him. He's humble. I think he's got a really good personality. I think he's obviously a really talented running back. He's a guy, I think, if he turns into Bijan, I'll take that 100%. And I think Ashton Genty's got a chance to be – I mean, he's the Heisman winner if we don't have a generational Travis Hunter on our hands. I mean, he wins the Heisman probably 7 years out of 10, in my opinion. He put on that kind of year. Very intriguing, very talented season out of him. I'm excited to watch what he potentially does in that silver and navy down there in Big D.
And now you're going 4 through 1?
4 through 1, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Number 4, I got Will Campbell, offensive tackle from LSU.
He is fantastic. LSU mostly runs a zone style running system. I think if you plug him into like a gap power scheme, he's going to be even better. One of the strongest players in this year's class. Doesn't have the lightest feet, but he's a big tackle. You're not going to expect him to have the lightest feet. He was fantastic in pass protection, keeping Garrett Nussmeier clean. I think at guard, he's like a true blue chip type of player. He's up there with Travis Hunter, who I imagine we'll get to, and Abdul Carter and Mason Graham. He's that type of prospect. At tackle, we'll see if he makes it work. He definitely might. His best position might be at guard. Either way, you're getting a stud football player.
But that's got to be intriguing, though. A guy who's like, well, I mean, either way, I mean, you got options with this guy. I mean, that's got to be intriguing to some sort of scout or a team that's looking to draft him. Like, you know, he's going to be a lead at a guard. He's played tackle his whole life. So, like, it's like kind of A or B. You pick your option, whatever he's better at. But, like, that's got to be intriguing. He's not a set in stone tackle that if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work to move him to guard.
It's like we might have, a good power tackle, or we might have Quentin Nelson. Pick whichever one you want.
Yeah, that's got to be very intriguing for sure. At 3, Mason Graham, D tackle out of Michigan.
I got Mason Graham 3rd as well. Dominant run stopper, really good pass rusher, extremely high floor. What's not to like?
Absolutely. Number 2, Abdul Carter, edge rusher from Penn State University.
I think we're going to agree all the way up to 1 because I've got Abdul Carter 2nd as well. I know a lot of people are going to have him 1st. And that's a little bit of a tough sell for me because I don't think he's a finished product yet. This is a guy who played a lot of off-ball linebacker at Penn State, and he was good at off-ball linebacker. Like, he'd probably get drafted in the 1st round there, kind of like a Micah Parsons, who I haven't seen the comps, but I imagine he's getting comped to Micah Parsons.
I mean, that's what I'd comp him to.
But he was so good at edge that they just decided, okay, that's your position now. He's 259 pounds, and he's going to run like a 4.55. It's absolutely wild. He's a rare athlete. He plays the run as well. Like, he's not a pushover setting the edge. I see a lot of Will Anderson and Abdul Carter.
Yeah, no doubt. I think this guy's a stud. He's a guy who definitely rose this year. He had a great year. He had a good postseason. He's a guy that's going to be really good. I see Mike Parsons all over in him. He's a guy that you're going to draft that you're expecting elite potential and have a good opportunity to see. I mean, there's potential he goes to the Browns, and you see, Myles Garrett wants out, but like, imagine Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter on either side. I would hate to see Abdul Carter go to the Browns just because his career is ruined.
We're looking back 8 years from now, and Abdul Carter has won nothing in the postseason. He's requesting a trade from the Browns.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're going to move on from Myles Garrett, and they're going to go get Abdul Carter, and we're just going to keep the cycle going.
And the best part about Abdul Carter, I don't even think he's 21 yet. So he's still getting faster. He's still getting stronger.
Yeah.
I don't care if his technique isn't perfect. He's going to fix it at the next level. He'll be just fine.
And number one.
You have Tyler Shuck from Louisville here, right?
How'd you know? The number 1 in literally everything he does, in my opinion, Travis Hunter, wide receiver, DB. What is he listed at? DB, right?
So on my board, I actually have him at both positions. I use italics for the rare player who's at multiple spots. Like if a guy is a returner and a receiver, because I have different boards for those two, they get the italics. Or if they're like a rare defensive line fullback prospect. They get the italics. You don't usually see top 5 at wide receiver and cornerback in the italics. I'm playing him at corner because I think that's the higher value position. He's absolutely fantastic.
He's a stud. He's generational, right?
He's a generational prospect and a generational talent. I don't know if he's a generational cornerback or receiver, is how I'd put it. I think he's a really good cornerback. He's just the definition of an athlete in that everything he does looks so effortless. It always feels like both physically and mentally, he's kind of ahead of what the offense or what the defense is trying to do. Fantastic playmaker from zone coverage. He reminds me a lot of Jalen Johnson for the Bears in that way. However, the reason that I like him so much at cornerback is you can put him out there every snap of the game. Let him handle that his rookie season. Let him get a little bit bigger. This is another player who's young. He's still putting on muscle. And then slowly you can work him in on offense. And he doesn't have to be some like elite route runner to be a valuable wide receiver because he knows how to make guys miss after the catch. He's fast. He's instinctive. You give him a package in the offense and let him go to work. Let him score a couple touchdowns a season for you. I do think that he's the best overall football player in this class.
Want to know who my comp is for him?
For wide receiver corner, or are you going to comp him to Dion?
No, I'm not going to comp him to Dion.
Okay.
I mean, that would be a fun comp too. My comp was Shohei Ohtani. And here's why. This guy, I mean, we saw it with the Heisman. We saw it in his whole college career. He revolutionized the game as a both ways starter. And we're going to see him continue to do that into the NFL. I know there's guys who've done it before, but a guy like Shohei, obviously Shohei is probably the best player in the MLB right now, but they literally changed a video game so that he could be in it with his skill set. Travis Hunter is going to have that same impact. I think Travis Hunter he's been generational. I think he continues to be generational. This guy, I mean, he's a franchise guy written all over it. Number 1 pick. Who's got the number? Titans, right?
Yep.
Amen, brother. I mean, Titans, they're going to get a guy. And if they don't take him, if they go quarterback, oh my gosh. But
man, I agree with you.
If I was the Titans, to be honest, I would probably trade back. I would trade back to a team that's got a quarterback that needs a playmaker on both sides of the ball. I mean, these legitimately, like, if you're a bad team, and the Titans are, but like quarterback is in need, and like you know what they can get for a first round pick, and they can still go get like Cam Ward. But if you're a team that just flat out sucks, literally, Travis Hunter can just make you good. Like, you don't need to go draft like 5 other players. You don't need to work on your offensive line or work on like your wide receiver room. You just draft Travis Hunter and everything else becomes good. That's my comp.
It's like an instant solve.
Yeah,
they're going to change the mechanics in Madden 26 is his comp.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Extra money for EA is my pro comp for Travis Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever the owner of EA is going to make a lot of money off of Travis Hunter going to the NFL. I mean, Travis Hunter, like, I'm going to say in the next 3 years, he's on the cover.
I could definitely see it. Maybe they put him on the front as a wide receiver and on the back as a cornerback. We'll see.
Ooh, that'd be kind of fun. That's all we got. And half. Much better than what we had in the first. I'm Ethan. That's Elson. He's got snow day. He's on vacation. I'm going to class tomorrow. But it is what it is. Maybe I got to go to
Rules
school.
for losers.
Yeah, no doubt about
Don't
it.
go to
All right.
bed.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the big old game, U.S. versus Canada, tomorrow night, and we'll talk Wednesday. So.